Hello everyone and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, right now I'm standing outside a windmill, and it's the windmill at Geldrop in the Netherlands. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, if it's Geldrop or Geldrop, but that's where I am. It's one of the last working windmills in the Netherlands. Many of them now are just monuments, and some of them are even partially destroyed, but this one is still operational. And many people in the queue here, while I was waiting, are buying flour, and it seems that they do all different kinds of flour, and it's possible to have a guided tour around the windmill. I've done that already. The last time I was here. I'm quite familiar with this windmill. And for those of you who like poetry, somewhere in my poetry collection, there's a poem about this windmill in Geldrop. It's well worth seeing. It's, well, looks like it's taking us back in time, because when you go inside, it's very traditional. There's a lady there with lots of old-fashioned scales, and she has her little shovel and she's weighing out the flour, and she really is from years gone by. And you wait a long time while she gets the flour and she gets her shovel and she puts it into paper bags, and then of course she measures it using old style measuring scales. You can be here for a while, but of course she is very modern when it comes to taking the cash. She produces a credit card machine which debits your bank accounts. So it's very traditional in some ways, but, well, business is business, I suppose. Let me just describe this windmill. It's 1, 2, 3 floors, and the roof, it has a date of 1843. Has 1, 2, 3, 4 wind sails, which sometimes operate and work. It's painted white with a Dutch flag on each of the sails. That's the things which go round, like the little propeller things. They're called sails. There's other flags here as well. I don't know what they are. One is white and red Czech, and the other appears to be a flag for some windmill association. The tour around this windmill is free, and they just ask for a donation. And it says here, Mullen elke zaterdag. That means windmill every Saturday. Open van 10 to 16 hours. And that means it's open from 10 until 4 every Saturday. It's run by volunteers, and they seem a little bit bitter. I heard one comment there. Somebody said, oh yes, a cyclist whizzing by, on the cycle track, they forget about the history of the place, of the windmill. But it certainly is a step back in time, except for the credit card machine, of course, which is the same everywhere. It's surrounded by beautiful countryside. It's just a 7-minute walk from Geldrop railway station, and it's beautiful. There's lots of green. There's houses around here as well. I can see the steeples of the old Geldrop church. Geldrop village is lovely. It's kind of a little bit pricey, I would say. Judging by the houses and the cars, I'd say it's quite an elite area. But very beautiful, very calm. Looks like it's a place you would retire to. And of course, lots of cyclists whizzing by. And it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place, really. I would have loved to go inside it again and again, but because I don't live locally, that's not possible, of course. So I get to see it about once a year if I come to the Netherlands. But it's one of these things which is so beautiful. You'd want to keep going in. And inside, there's a little museum. And of course, it shows how to make flour as well. And not everyone's speaking English, so you have to wait for an English tour guide. And yes, it's lovely. So if you are coming to the Netherlands, I do recommend that you make a point of coming to Geldrop. It's only a very short 5-minute ride away from Eindhoven train station. You can get a bus here as well. It's just one stop on the way to Weert. And yeah, it's beautiful. Of course, there's loads of other windmills you can see in the Netherlands, but this would be the local one. And on the other side of this windmill is a train track. You just heard the train going past there. These trains are interesting. They're double deckers. You know, it's like 2 floors, and they have first class and second class, which look identical to me, but it seems they are different. And when you buy a train ticket, you're automatically directed to second class. But if you dare to sit in first class, they will move you. They seem a bit unhappy about that, which I suppose is right, but they just look the same to me. So you have to look on the outside of the train first. It'll clearly be marked 1 or 2 to show you where you should be sitting. The Dutch, as you know, are very famous for their radio communications. After all, Philips, the radio company, came from here, and they have a big museum here. So I'm seeing transmitter towers everywhere. I'm not sure if they're mobile phones or if it's FM radio, but there's a lot of radio communication towers around here as well. Yeah, and it's very, very beautiful. So come to Geldrop is what I would say today. And this large circular white windmill obviously takes a lot of cash to keep up. So they're doing free tours, but they're just simply asking for a donation. So that's something which I will be happy to give them. I love to see these things preserved, really. So yeah, a beautiful big thing. It's like a big standing soldier, and you can walk underneath it and around it and up inside it. I guess it's the way they used to live. I think windmills here are protected by law now, which is a lovely thing. And yes, and that's it. So my next stop from here will be going to visit the church in Geldrop. I've forgotten the name of it, but it's in the town centre, and they have a lovely carillon. You know, Dutch people and churches, they love the bells. Every hour there's a fancy tune comes from the bells. It's a carillon, as they call it. It's like a little tune they play, and some of them even have little statues, you know, little dancers that come out and go around and twist and turn and go back into the clock mechanism. Very beautiful. So yes, the carillons sound lovely, and they're chiming all around at every moment. So there we are. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this little podcast from Geldrop Windmill in the south of the Netherlands near Eindhoven. Beautiful place. Just to recap, large white, looks like a rather fat old lady with a propeller with the Dutch flag on each sail. I think that's what they're called, sails, and lots of little windows. And it reminds me of that English song, Windmills of Old Amsterdam. You know the one, I saw a mouse where, there on the stair, right there. A little mouse with clogs on. I suppose that must have been a Dutch song at one point, and we kind of translated it into English, I guess. But yeah, Windmills of Old Amsterdam is a song we used to sing as children. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. That's it. See you all. Bye.